restorer. Can you hear me? Ah, there you are. I'm sorry. What you've just experienced was a relapse of our patient's condition. Hopefully you didn't cause too much damage whilst inside. Now, the objective as stated is to locate Jean's artifact. At this present moment in time, we don't know what this item is. We need to gather information from important memories our client can still understand. Their core memories.
In the previous section, our goal was to find a bit of memory plaque and destroy it, but now we're being asked to find the artifact, which will help us restore Jean's memories. But we don't know what the artifact is. We now have access to a new area. Again, this is a projection of Jean's mind or memory, and we'll see where this is in just a moment. It was pointed out in the thread, but I probably should say in a video, I'm playing and recording this game at 720p. It will go up to 1080p and it does use higher quality textures, but I was having trouble managing the video file sizes and editing.
Just a side note, any items you pick up can be stored in the case, should you want to. Right, let's try to make sense of all of this. Explore whatever you can, and I'll keep in contact with any new information.
We don't have a lot of control over where we are. We are here, presumably because this is a very important place to Jean. And as I said, it's where we'll find her artifact, whatever that is, somewhere.
A memory fragment. Good work. A ribbon. This must be Jean's representation of them within her mind. Interesting. Her memory fragments are in the form of ribbons. I'm going to store them here for you from now on. Right. Let's try to make some sense out of all of this.
Earlier, Phyllis told us that we needed to get a closer look at some of Jean's core memories, and the ribbons are the fragments of those, so our goal in each section is to put together, find all the ribbons and put together the core memory. And just about everything else in the game is optional. That symbol on the wall there is something that we're going to have to come back and take care of later. We don't have what we need right now.
I hate the smell of raw fish.
I must say, I am impressed, Restorer. You've done such wonderful work this evening. Just between you and I, there's a lot riding on this restoration. It's our last week of funding, and, well, I haven't got any usable results. You're my last hope, and it's very important that we succeed.
The mind can be like a blank canvas, or a picture can be left incomplete for a generation, only to be finished years later in life.
The blacksmith was a vital part of the British town for a very long time, but with industries growing and taking over, they had to find other ways to survive and remain in trade. This particular smith became well known for his sculpting and other decorative metal work. But apparently he became a recluse after the industrial decline and destroyed all of his work.
If an artist's tools are kept sharpened, any memory can be etched in stone.
This is the first sort of large area that we have access to where we have a bit of freedom in exploration and wandering around. We're going to encounter a number of projectors in this area. And if you pay attention, Jean's comments generally will sort of create a small narrative thread that relates to each projector, and sometimes provide little clues on what to do as well.
A heavy heart won't hang in the balance forever.
The furnace handle was the first step of the projector for this puzzle, which is actually located under the floor. You couldn't really see it. And I hope it's clear that the anchor will be the second step.
In the darkness, new memories can be painted into our lives. Sometimes we find old ones. We forgot we're even there.
There's not much I can say about today's session other than sheer joy. We'd set up an easel in the corner of the room by the window, and we both painted together for most of the afternoon. The paintings were remedial, but showed a keen desire to express one's emotions. There's a person in there just screaming to break out. The whole session was recorded, and I believe this is tangible evidence that the therapy is working. I just need to show sustainability to ensure further funding. Of course, full validation and acceptance is still the goal here, but this is fantastic. You know, I am sorry about before, the relapse and all. Just remember, it's incredibly important that we trust each other. Don't worry too much about her brain. I'll be monitoring it on my end to ensure that no severe damage is caused during your visit.
crow with an injured wing, just lying there on the beach.
I imagine this was almost a second home to most of the fishermen who lived here. There was a strong reading when you walked in. There's a story to be told here. I think you better keep looking.
So, as you can see, we have sort of traversed this building, and it's connected to the pub.
Did I ever tell you about an old colleague of mine who experimented with brain cell transplants? Taking them from one memory and surgically implanting them into another. An attempt to reconfigure their minds, he said. Fascinating stuff, really. Imagine what we could do with that level of scientific freedom.
This is the direction we'll go when we are able to leave this area, and this will be the last ribbon we collect. I'm not going to collect it just now.
If you feel lost, or don't know where to go, remember you can go back to the case and check the map.
Despite what she says, there's not actually a street map of these towns, but this one is fairly straightforward. So we can see that there's a projector here, and it probably has something to do with that note we found downstairs, but it mentioned a safe, and the safe is actually behind this picture, and hopefully that is a familiar looking picture. So we're prompted to put something in there. This one was quite tricky until you realized that you could type something in that space. You have to match exactly what it says on the bottle, which is kind of annoying to do with a controller.
That crow would have died for sure if it was just left there.
So step 2 for this projector is now to get the safe open. Apparently it's not important enough for Phyllis to leave us a note here. This is still the first note that we ever found. So you can actually just run downstairs and check it again. Sometimes they're farther away from each other, which might be when she decides to give us the note in the case.
That first night, it flapped and panicked for hours. But by the morning, it felt calm and safe.
As this game is the story of Pinwheel and the people in it, you should actually be trying to remember who is who. There's a number of people's names you'll see again and again, and they all have a role in Jean's history.
I wouldn't exactly say orange.
So there's not much to see in this room other than the boat. And I think we know where this boat goes.
It took weeks, but it healed fully, and pretty soon it needed to be released back into nature.
I'm having just a little trouble with the controller here. It's not registering that I'm pushing the button.
The wise words of a father. If you love something, set it free.
special one. I'm marking it under positive. Although it deals with letting go, it also has a strong emphasis on a father's love. And when I used it, I found that the patient didn't want to let it go. This may be an early sign of progress. As experimental as this process is, I still feel it's heavily grounded in tangible science.